up, guys? Have you ever considered hiring a coach to help you overcome any challenges you're facing in life? Well, I know I have, and it can be quite expensive once you actually look into it. So, I was on the internet the other day, and I saw this lady mentioning something about using AI to help you with sales. So, I was figuring, like, okay, well, I'm struggling with sales a little bit. I was like, let me just go play around with ChatGPT and see what happens. So, this is what I did, and I was so blown away. I want to share it with you guys. So I basically said, like, well, before I get into it, I want to give you a little bit of context. So I have a bunch of leads from before Christmas time, some sales calls I've been on. They didn't end up closing, but I know that the money's in the follow up. But I'm a little bit apprehensive to call these people up again because, let's quite frankly, I don't know what I'm going to say. And I'm going to be fully transparent with you. I'm not some big sales guru and I don't have a sales background. So this is something that I kind of struggle with. So I just went to ChatGPT and I basically said, "You're Grant Cardone. One of your clients has a bunch of leads that are a few months old, but they're scared to call them. What advice do you have for your client?" And basically it went off. So I'm not going to read every little thing that it said, but it said, like, change, well, not it. Grant said, change your mindset, make the call. So, like, don't overcomplicate it. Start with energy and confidence. So it gave me like a little opener that I could use. Obviously, you have to, plug in my product and service and all that other stuff. And then it says, be persistent. They might not pick up the first time. No problem. Follow up with text, emails, and more calls. It's like most deals are made after 8 to 12 contacts. So that was quite reassuring to know that, like, yeah, just keep being persistent, Drew. So, anyways, what really blew me away was, would you like to role play those calls? And I was like, yeah, I would. That'd be helpful. So, anyways, as you can see, they're like, ring ring, hello, this is Lead's name. So then, it expects me to respond like how I would answer the call. So I say, hey John, it's just Jarrell calling. I know we connected a while back about getting more custom builds, and I wanted to circle back to see if this is still important to you. So here's Grant's feedback. That's a solid start, Jarrell. You've got confidence, and you're keeping it focused on the lead's needs. Let's continue. So, anyways, Grant says, "Hey, Jarrell, I remember. I've just been busy, and things have been a bit slow lately." So now it's expecting me to respond. So he's saying, like, how would you respond to John's hesitation? So if I were on the phone with a real person and they said that, I would say, yeah, I get that. Since we just finished Christmas, John, I have a few minutes. Is this a bad time to have a quick chat? And the reason that I asked them, is this a bad time to have a quick chat when we first get into the conversation, is because from past experience, when you start trying to get into the conversation and you don't ask them this question, a lot of the times they would just be like, oh, I don't have time right now, or whatever they'd say and get you off the phone. So after that happening, enough times, I found this guy online that's pretty good at sales, this other young guy. His name's Stefan. I can't pronounce his last name because it's like, I don't even know where it's from. But anyways, he runs a school community called Valuepreneurs, so you might want to check him out if you also want to get help with your sales. So anyways, that's why I asked him, is this a bad time to have a quick chat? So as you can see, Grant's feedback is, good move, Jarrell. You're acknowledging his situation and showing respect for his time. Now here's how John might respond. So he's like, yeah, I guess I got a couple minutes. What's on your mind? So now it's asking me, like, how would I keep the conversation flowing? So what I would say if I were speaking to a real person would be, I wanted to quickly touch on how we can get you a few more custom builds in the next 90 days without any long contracts or monthly fees. But I was curious to know how you're currently getting the phone to ring. And the reason that I go on and say, without long contracts or monthly fees is because I watch a lot of Grant Cardone's content and he always says, like, you want to be interesting. He's like, you need to drop a hook in them as soon as you can in the conversation. It's like, if you're just going on about this vague generic stuff, he's like, chances are they're not really going to care about it. So I just tried to incorporate that feedback from one of his videos I saw online. So as you can see, it says, great approach. You're positioning yourself as a problem solver and immediately tying your solution to a clear time frame. You're also transitioning smoothly into a discovery question to learn about their current methods. Let's continue. So, just to touch on that, a little side note is every time after they ask you a question and you respond, you always want to follow up with a question. You don't just want to, give them control to where they just start pummeling you with all these different questions. So, back to the video. So, as you can see, the lead would say, right now, it's mostly word of mouth and referrals. We've done a little bit of advertising, but nothing too consistent. And when I saw this response, I was actually blown away because most of the time when I speak to these custom home builders or remodelers, that's exactly what they're saying to me. Mostly word of mouth and referrals, and they are kind of dabbling in advertising. So this is to me is invaluable, this type of feedback. So then it's my turn. So I would say something like, I hear that. I hear that from a lot of my builder clients. They tell me that the referrals they're getting aren't always a good fit and usually don't have the right budget to build a custom home. If we can get you more consultations with serious qualified buyers in your area, would that be helpful or not really? And obviously, my tonality is off here. I'm just reading this for you guys. Excuse me. Went out for supper last night and I woke up with a little bit of a cold. So now it's saying, fantastic response. You're empathizing with the lead, showing expertise, and leading with a solution oriented question. This helps frame your offer as a no brainer. Let's see how the lead reacts. So now we can see, yeah, that would be definitely helpful, but I'm just not sure how you do that or if it's worth it or it's worth the effort. So once again, I've gotten responses like this, minus the worth the effort part, but I've had people asking like, okay, when and how are you going to do that? So, like I said, this is bang on here. Like this is gold. And if you're not actually leveraging AI to your advantage, you're literally sleeping, guys. So, where did I leave off? So yeah, next. So the lead says like, yeah, sure, go ahead, I'm listening. Then I would say something like, "Well, John, to be fully transparent with you, we run ads on Facebook, but we don't just send you a list of names and phone numbers and expect you to chase them down. Because from my research, this is obviously a big problem for them. These guys are, or any business owner, they're busy running their business. They don't just want a bunch of leads sent to their email or whatever, and now they've got to play receptionist trying to chase them down. So I plug that in there. Then it's like we actually take it a step further. So whenever a lead comes in, we qualify them to make sure that they actually have the budget to build a custom home and they're looking to build within the next few months and that they want to build in your area in your service area. Once they're qualified, we book them in for a consultation on your calendar. Does that make sense? So as you can see, I always follow up with a question. Then Grant says, that's a strong pitch. You're transparent about your process, addressing common pain points like unqualified leads, and showing how you go above and beyond to deliver real value. Let's see how John reacts. So then, if this were John, they say something like, yeah, that does make sense. I like the idea of only talking to people who are ready to move forward. How many leads like this could you realistically get me? So before we go into my response, this also hits a nail on the head because I was on a call with a discovery call with a guy last night, and he said something just like that. He's like, "Yeah, I like the sounds of that," and about how we qualify them and actually just send him people that are actually interested. Because he told me he's working with a marketing company, and basically what they do is just like send him contact information. So now he's like trying to chase down these people for these, projects worth of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when we were on the call, I could hear his young daughter in the background. So he's trying to spend time with his family. He's trying to grow his business, and now they expect him to chase down these leads. So how many of those leads do you think are actually going to fall through the cracks? So that's why I have it as part of my service, where we actually do the appointment setting for them. So back to the video. So the way I would respond to that, if John said, if John said, yeah, that does make sense. I like the idea of only talking to people who are ready to move forward. How many leads like that could you realistically get me? So my response would be, that really depends, John. Most of our clients spend $30 a day on advertising, and they're seeing anywhere from 7 to 10 leads a month, which usually turns into 3 to 5 solid consultations. Would that be sufficient for you, or are you looking to expand? Then Grant's feedback is, nice, you're managing expectations while keeping the conversation open to scaling. It's a great way to gauge his interest and potential budget. So I wasn't even trying to gauge his potential budget, but obviously Grant is a master at sales, so he gave me some good insights here. So moving forward, the lead says something like, that actually sounds pretty good. I'd be happy with 3 to 5 consultations a month. So what's the next steps to move forward? So you might be thinking 3 to 5 consultations a month, like that's not very much. But I work with custom home builders. And if one of those consultations turns into a build, the average profit for them is in the hundreds of thousands. So 3 to 5 consultations for them is good. Like if I came up to them saying like, "Oh, we're gonna get you 20 consultations," they'd be thinking like, "Listen, I want quality over quantity." So that's why it's only 3 to 5 consultations. So now they're asking me like, "How do you close a deal smoothly and confidently?" Now that the person's interested. So I would say something like, the next steps would be to meet on the computer where we can further our conversation. And if it makes sense, I could show you a demo of how our service works and answer any other questions you have. Are you free tomorrow or sometime this week? And as you can see, Grant saying, perfect close. You're keeping it low pressure while moving toward commitment. It's clear, professional, and gives John options for scheduling. Let's wrap it up. It's like, yeah, I can do tomorrow afternoon. How about 2 p.m.? So from there, basically what I would do is, yeah, 2 p.m. works, or check your calendar to make sure you're not double booking yourself. And basically like, yeah, I'll send you a calendar invite with a link to join the meeting. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I look forward to showing you how we can help. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you found that helpful. I know I did once I was playing around with this. And if you found this video helpful, please like and consider subscribing because I have a super small channel and I'm looking to grow. And every day I upload new videos on what I'm doing to grow my agency, so you might find it valuable as well. So I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.